You're listening to the world-famous White Roof Radio, Woofcast number 607, recorded October 4th, 2016. Tonight brought to you by MotoringStripes.com, CravenSpeed.com, and OutMotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and style. It's OutMotoring.com. Hey, everybody. Yeah, ruining the brand. Perfect. Deep in Arizona, bringing you an episode of White Roof Radio, the Woofcast here underneath the White Roof. Talk about Mini Cooper stuff for you like we like to do. Joining us this week, as always, my good friend Todd Pearson from MotoringStripes.com. Todd, say hi.
Hello, I'm here. I'm sorry, I was about to type something funny that I can't say on the show, so go ahead.
You can't say that on the show. No. And then our good friend Alex is with us as well. Alex, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Calling you from San Francisco, trying to make Mini great again. Sorry, I had to do it. I don't think we've ever done it since since the beginning of this whole thing. So
I make Mini great.
I had to say it once.
I'm glad you guys aren't in our Slack channel because Todd just posted something, and that would upset some of you.
We'll save it for our political podcast later.
We'll save that for the political podcast that we're starting up after, who knows when. Anyway, we're not talking about politics. Todd and Alex got that out of their system already. We are talking about Mini Cooper. Hey, we're going to talk about sales tonight. So that's kind of exciting. When Todd's actually done some napkin math, that's actually, I think you guys are going to find very interesting as well. So we're going to talk about that and a couple other things, whatever we can come up with. All that here in just a little bit. Before we start, I'd like to take a moment and remind you about one of the fine sponsors here underneath the White Roof. And, of course, our friends over at Outmotoring, OutMotoring.com. You guys, I told you last week there was a new website for OutMotoring.com. I wanted to make sure you guys have actually clicked over and checked it out. If you haven't, go over there. Check it out on your phone. Check it out on your iPad. Check it out on whatever, your weird little Android tablet that you bought on Woot for $59. Go check it out. They made it all brand new, and it's got responsive design, and you can do really good search and all the things. It's awesome. And then after you're done checking out and just being totally blown away at the new awesome, then pick yourself out something nice, right? And don't forget, if you've already signed up for the email newsletter, you already have your October coupon code that's going to save you 5% on your order, right? Not only that, but if you spend $195 on most orders, you get free shipping, right? Yes. That is really, really cool. Don't forget, too, Outmotoring's still adding 3,000 new products every month. 3,000 new products. Now, for those of you that are looking for this, Outmotoring is now offering Aston Martin parts for the Aston Martin. That's what I'm looking at the email here. It says now offering Aston Martin parts. Let's see, what can we buy for an Aston Martin? Because, I know we got a bunch of DB9 listeners out there.
Finally, I get my Vanquish parts on.
See?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
So you can get oil filters. You can get Brembo slotted rotors for the front, hydraulic hood pistons, license plate frames, headlight protection film. You get the full, big brake kit. Geez, the $5,000 brake kit. Holy crap. Secondary cat replacements, master cylinder. Dude, this is legit, for reals, not just an Aston Martin t-shirt, which he has as well, or a pen set. Oh my God, $70 for a set of pens because they say Aston Martin on them. You think they're right upside down?
I think they also work as explosive pens like James Bond's. So I guess he can't advertise this on the website.
Probably not. Yeah, but I'm sure they use invisible ink, or they shoot some kind of bullet, or maybe a death ray.
No,
something like that.
The pen, it's a giant magnet. So if anybody shoots at you, the bullet will be drawn to the pen because it's a very strong magnet. Isn't that the James Bond thing about the pen?
But you wouldn't want that, because what if you carry, you're carrying your pen on your inside coat pocket? It's going to come right in, just going to nail you in the chest.
No, it's going to stop the bullet. It's going to.
Well, if it's a strong enough pen, sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go with that. Anyway, all that available.
Only $70.
Only $70, because you got to have the Aston Martin pen set, and if you use the coupon code, you're going to save 5%. What a deal! Because everybody needs that, or an Aston Martin shirt. Just saying, or cufflinks, or a pin. all the things Aston Martin over at Outmotoring. Outmotoring.com. It's our friends. We love those guys. They've been sponsoring us forever. Sponsor MotorFile too. Just go over there, check it out. Use your coupon code. If you're one of the weird ones that don't get the email, just sign up. It's not that big of a deal. It's another email. What's another email? You get 150 emails a day anyway. And then they're all from Target and Kohl's. So add Outmotoring. You're going to get like one a week. Big deal. Just do it. Get your coupon code. Save yourself 5%. And that, of course, our friends over at Outmotoring. Outmotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and H&R lowering springs for the Vantage Roadster V8. That's right. Outmotoring.com. Maestro, if you please.
Oh, boy. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm reading Twitter, and currently, while we're recording this,
so we're recording this on the night of the vice presidential debates.
Yes,
and you can't read Twitter on debate night.
It's on fire tonight. But can I just say that?
You can't read because we can't even talk about it because we're talking about Mini Coopers. We're not talking about politics.
New tab. Here we go. I'm gone.
There you go.
It'll be there later. It'll be there later. That's the great thing about Twitter.
Command T to the rescue.
Mm-hmm.
So we have. I want to double back a story that we briefly touched on last week, and I just want to remind you guys, for those of you who might have missed it, is that NBC has asked Warner Brothers for The Italian Job as a TV show,
and they're going to make it.
I'm sorry, Paramount.
Yeah.
For the TV show version of Italian Job, which I thought was really interesting.
It was, and I think
they got tired of waiting for Italian Job 2 or something.
3,
right?
The Brazilian Job or whatever it was they were going to make.
Brazilian Job, yeah.
That's going to be. Right. I mean, it's interesting, but I mean, it makes sense because, I mean, there's a TV show now for Lethal Weapon. They redid MacGyver. So, heck, why not? Well, BMW Films is bringing back the Clive Owen.
I know. That was very cool. And can I say, speaking of Twitter, that Mini USA posted about how NBC was going to remake Italian Job into a TV show now. So that leads...
It's going to be a tie-in.
I don't know, but whenever people start waxing nostalgic for the Italian Job, I mean, I thought we were finally over, every time you mention a Mini Cooper to like any man on the street or any average person on the street. That's
that movie, The Italian Job. I saw that.
I swear to God, every time I would go to a gas station for 10 years straight, people would go, "Did you ever see that movie, The Italian Job?" I mean, they walk over to your Mini and go, "Hey, do you like your Mini?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's great." And then they go, the next thing they say out of their mouth after, what kind of gas mileage does this get? The next thing out of people's mouth is, "Do you ever see that movie, The Italian Job?" I'm like, "No, never heard of it."
Brother Todd speaks the truth.
Am I lying? I am not lying, am I?
No, you are not lying. That is, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen that. Been asked that question. So yes, I've seen the movie. I was there for the premiere.
And
yes.
I got to say, luckily, I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. I've seen it a dozen times or more, probably more than that. But I'm just hoping that it doesn't tank. And if Mini Coopers are involved, which hey, we're hoping they are because it can only be good publicity, especially if it's good. That hey, it'll be a lot of fun. So here's hoping.
Right. Unlike the movie Pixels.
I still have not seen that.
Which I haven't seen, but
no, you don't.
I didn't hear good things.
No, I didn't.
No, don't do this for your own brain, for the sake of your brain.
That movie's definitely, we would put that into the column called ruining the brain.
Yes, you would. We should have a wall like Top Gear, right? Like ruining the brand.
Ruining the brand wall.
Ruining the brand, and like what would be on the other side, like when they do something good for the brand? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be everything else, just the ruining the brand stuff.
Yeah, CarPlay coming to the JCW. That's saving the brand.
There you go. Yes. And one other TV related thing for those of you who care, and I know a lot of you guys do. The boys from Top Gear, the boys from the Grand Tour, Jezza and Captain Slow and Hamster were on the Late Show this last week, whenever the show came out. And there's a clip on YouTube if you haven't found it. If you play the DonBurnside.com home game, it's on my Facebook page. I'll make sure to share it with the White Roof Radio Facebook page as well. Check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Well, and it was fun, DB, because
we're excited for November 18th.
Because DB, that was one of your favorite tracks that they were on. They were in Willow Springs.
Yeah, they were on Horse Thief Canyon track, which is I've never driven that. I'm looking at that and I'm watching. I'm going, wait, that's not the big track.
Yeah,
that's not streets. What is? Oh my God, they're up at Horse Thief Canyon, and that track is insane because there's no
runoff, dude. There's no
runoff. It's up on a cliff. If you go off track,
you
go down like the side of a hill.
You've just ruined your car.
Feet above the desert floor.
Yeah, you've ruined your car.
Die. Anyway, it's a crazy track, and that's what they're racing. I'm just like going, oh, Wow. Okay, that was weird. I was hoping they would have been on streets. That would have been awesome because then I would have been able to picture myself in that vet with them, going, "Oh, I remember that turn. Oh, I remember that turn.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that turn." All the things. Anyway, I'm excited for that.
And when does
You know what?
the
Like I'm actually not a subscriber to Amazon Prime, and this is the one reason I'm going to subscribe to it.
Good
so
for you.
well done, Amazon.
So well done, Amazon. There you go.
Because I this is so let's be honest here. Some shows, I obtain them through various
less than noble means. Less than noble means. Is
noble
that what
means. Well, actually, no, noble means, but sometimes I do it like even more noble.
Okay.
Like noble or
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna do this for Top Gear.
Nice job. Well, not only that, but Prime's so worth it to have because
Where do you buy your stuff,
Prime music
Alex?
now, which is cool.
Yeah.
And you get in San Francisco, I think you probably would get same day shipping on a lot of things. So
Yeah, I would. It's just so the to be frank, like the only reason why I never subscribed to it is because I was afraid of buying too much stuff.
Oh, you will.
Right.
You will because
I refrain myself.
I swear there's like probably 4 out of 5. Actually, the nice thing about Amazon Prime is a lot of times you'll place an order on Friday and it will get delivered to you on Sunday. I'm not kidding.
That's nice.
I get so many packages on Sunday that I don't choose. I just order it. I just go, oh, I need this, and happens to be a Friday when I order it, and I'm not in no hurry, but it shows up on Sunday.
I needed.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
I need lights for our bicycles and a tripod mount for my iPhone.
There you go.
Right. Placed the order on Amazon. Got it the same day.
Oof, that's nice.
Same day. I mean, it was late. I didn't get it until 8:00, but I didn't have to wait till tomorrow. The guy dropped it off on the front porch. 8:00 at night.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's pretty cool.
I have an Amazon warehouse.
And it was only so late because I live so freaking north. I'm practically in Utah over here.
I ordered a shirt one time from Amazon, and I ordered it very early in the morning. It was about 8:00 in the morning, and about 3:30 that afternoon it showed up because there are 2 Amazon warehouses in the Kansas City area, and one of them is literally less than 2 miles from me.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, how did I get this the same day? And I looked at the return address, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, it's right up the street.
Hey, put it in an Uber.
Didn't know that.
Well, it's gonna happen. Like they are toy. Like they get their planes now.
Yeah.
They get drones. They're gonna get their own transportation system.
We are not getting paid by Amazon for this piece. So if you work for Amazon and you'd like to sponsor our show, let us know. We love your service.
We love Amazon.com. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? We've got mini sales, which are down again.
I predicted this.
What is going on with sales? I
I
am confused.
That's a good question, DB. And I think Mini's in a very unique place this year. One, let's look at the September numbers first of all, and then we'll basically backtrack on this. September numbers are down. What do we say? About 8.8% over the previous.
8.8%. Yeah.
Now,
roughly 400 cars.
What I found was interesting, and September's always been kind of a slow month for Mini in general because kids are going back to school, the summer is over, fall is starting.
No more money.
Yeah, you spent their money on summer vacations, whatever. So it's not a huge car buying month, but that being said, I looked at it and I thought it was interesting that the difference between August and September sales was a 19% drop. But I think that's, when I first saw that, I go, wow, that's big. But I think that's pretty typical year over year, which is why when we compare these numbers and we say, hey, here's the number, Mini sales were down 8.8%. Basically, that's comparing to September of last year, okay?
Yep.
When they say it was down that. I think the more important number to look at here for people who don't dive into this as much as we do, we're going to do that so you don't have to, is the numbers for the year, okay? That 2015, the first 9 months of the year, 2016, I should say, this year, the first 9 months versus the first 9 months of last year, okay? Sales are down 13.5%.
Correct. That's roughly, we'll call it 6,000 cars.
And I'll say,
that's a lot.
I was interested in this, and so I went back 6 months. I went back to April, okay, to see how far back does this drop go. In April, for example, to that point of the year, sales were down 14.3%. Moving on to May, yearly sales as a whole, so 5 months, were down 16% over the previous year. Wow. June, 16.9%. Things are getting worse. July, 15.6%. Things have gotten a little bit better in the month of July. You move to
Right.
August, things get a lot better, down only 14%. We start gaining a little traction. And here's the really good news, is we go from that to in September, sales are only down 13.5%. So I think as a trend, and this is more valuable, I think, in the long run to look at it, is sales are increasing. They're getting a little bit better, right?
Right. And I think some of that has to do with the Clubman sales, because I'm looking here at September, and Clubman sales are taking away from Hardtop and Countryman.
Well, and speaking of that, DB, here's the really stark number that we look at. Speaking of the hardtop, the two-door hardtop that started this brand, that kicked it off in 2002.
Yeah, 3 digits. Like I forgot what were the numbers. Sorry to cut you off the tab, but I forgot what were the numbers for the last month. But like 3 digits.
It's 58.8%. It's down almost 60% for the year. For the year of 2016, the hardtops alone are down 46.8%.
To last year. That's crazy.
Okay? That's a scary number right there. Now, a lot of people look at that and they go, well, you kind of got to combine the 2-door and the 4-door hardtop together because it's kind of the same vehicle. I'm like, no, I think you separate the 2-door vehicles from the 4-door vehicles. So really, the only thing you have here is the hardtop and the convertible. And the convertible's doing incredibly well this year. It's off to a flying start, I think better than people expected.
Mm-hmm.
But
it is, for a convertible, it's selling really well.
That being said, I said back in August of the August numbers that, what was it, 74% of reported minis sold in the month of August in the United States had 4 doors. Okay, that was a stark number, and Alex was like, "That means 3 out of 4 cars sold."
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that last show of the show.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and we wondered, is that odd or is that a trend starting? Well, in September, it was 72%. Okay? 71.5%, I should say, rounding up to 72%. It is still damn near 3 out of every cars of minis sold in the United States.
3 of every 4 cars sold is 4 doors.
Have 4 doors.
And we have the new Countryman coming out like really, really soon, so it's gonna keep increasing this trend.
And we talked about this a few weeks ago. You may or may not have heard the show, that Volkswagen as a company has ceased production of the 2-door GTI. They're only going to make 4 doors in that.
But that's in the U.S., right? That's in the U.S.
Yeah, that's in the U.S. And that is one of, I think that's been one of the strongest mini competitors over the years. Don't you guys think that people are always talking trash about the GTI? Like, I'm going to buy that instead of a mini, right?
I mean, I was on the verge of buying a GTI.
Absolutely.
Seriously. So,
absolutely.
It was definitely on my top 5.
Yeah, it's a decent car. And that, okay, the number, this 46.8% 2-door hardtop sales are down in 2016, combined with how 3 out of 4 minis sold in the last couple of months have had 4 doors. The fact that VW has dropped that, they're a bigger brand that see these trends coming, I think, maybe a little bit sooner because they've got way more at stake here. Right. My question is this. How bad does that number have to be, that drop in sales, for the 2-door hardtop in the U.S., for many to consider doing away with it? Or will that never happen? This could be like the what do I want to say, the Z4 that BMW makes that sells very few, but they still continue to make it. It's kind of a heart of the brand.
It's like the Apple Mac Mini. They won't update it, but they keep making it and selling it.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there a number?
I would like to think that the 2-door hardtop will never go away.
Yeah.
But that said, if sales got down into Paceman territory,
if it drops below 10%, like if fewer than 10% of minis sold are 2-door hardtops, and if this happens for, let's say, 6 months, I would think there's a business case to say we're going to stop making 2 doors, at least for the U.S. I don't know what the rest of the world sales numbers are. We don't see that. But I think for the U.S. as a business, you're sitting in a boardroom somewhere going, this doesn't make any sense. Unless it's relatively inexpensive to make these cars for the U.S. But
I would be surprised if they this car is to like this. I mean, the Z4 it's a little bit different, right? But like the two-door has a lot to do with like the identity of the brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if at the end of the day, if people today are going into a Mini dealer, it's because they've seen like a two-door like on the street, right? Like most likely because this is
right.
Regardless of the numbers we're looking at right now, like this is the most common Mini out there. So the fact is that this is bringing people into the dealership, right? I have a hard time right now, and again, like maybe it's just because historically BMW is very objective when it comes to numbers, right? It's just if something doesn't make sense, they're gonna cut it off. But I would still be very surprised that like one of the biggest markets for Mini would just cut off the two-door, because I wonder what kind of signal it sends to the rest of the bigger markets. And if they do it in the US, like I don't see why they would keep on producing the car any longer.
I don't know, because
well, actually in Europe it works pretty well, so I don't know.
It does, and I think somebody in the comments of the story actually even said something about this and how all of the other big brands, the sporty versions of the cars, have all got 4 doors now. Like the new Audi that was introduced in Paris.
Yeah, one.
Well, you know what?
It was like the S,
but like the Focus RS and the Fiesta, those are both 4-door cars.
Yep, absolutely. And a lot of the sporty cars now are, kind of that version and that style. And I think we see a trend going that way. Now, that being said, Alex,
so interesting.
I agree.
Do you think they should have done? Interesting. Now that we're seeing those numbers, do you think they should have done JCW at 55?
I don't know. Since they're doing the F54, the Clubman. So what you're saying is, should they have done a JCW of the 4-door? I don't know. I don't think it's a sporty enough looking car. I think it's more
me neither. I don't think so.
Sedan looking. I do think it lends itself stylistically a little more towards the Clubman, which is why they did it. A car is kind of more sporty looking, if you will, even though it's a little bit wagon like. Man, I don't know. That's the tough part, because what do you do when Mini, like, you go, what is the sportiest looking, most fun runaround car you can get? It's going to be a convertible. I mean, that's not going to go away. They're going to not make that into a 4-door.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. I
don't know. It's a hypothetical question that I hope that doesn't go anywhere. But if these numbers continue to get worse,
yeah, you never know.
And when the new Countryman comes out, I think we're going to see those numbers get really bad, the hardtop numbers. Mm-hmm. And when we see the Countryman first of the year next year, we're going to start seeing that number of 4-door Minis sold creep up, probably in the 80 to 90% range, I'm afraid.
So I got another question for you guys. I think, and I don't know if it's still on the table, given what the sales turn out to be and like the focus on the electric Mini now. But they were talking about like the the last superhero car, and so I think at the time it was between like having some sort of like mini sedan, like sedan coupe, right, and maybe the Superleggera.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think those numbers would be like like for them it's just like we're making the decision like it's gonna be like a sedan like car, because like we can't really just like we already have the 2-door that we don't sell much, and we can like justify the price of having like another like 2-door car in the lineup.
I don't know. I tell you, it's not going to be the Rocket Man. I think car companies are getting away from the ultra small car. I mean, seriously, what's popular in the ultra small category now? I think the closest we've got to that would be a Honda Fit, maybe a Toyota Yaris, and even the Fit is as long or longer than a Mini. I've parked next to them before. They're a decent sized car, but it's a small 4-door car. And saying that, I think the 4-door Mini, the hardtop, is why it's selling so well. That's a pretty popular class of car right now. A lot of people are buying them. Even like DB said, the Ford Focus, the Fiesta,
right? All
of that is very popular, and that's right now that's what's selling. And let's hope that trend doesn't last forever.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I'm not interested in getting a 4-door car. I mean, I am, but not really. I don't know. Crazy.
No, me neither. Mm-hmm.
So let's continue on with sales. So because Todd, we kind of glanced over this. Mm-hmm. Todd with his napkin math, his Rain Man math.
Oh yeah.
With the sales trending down that they've gotten, what was the numbers you came up with, Todd?
Okay, so let's say in the first 9 months this year, over last year, Mini sold about almost 6,100 fewer cars. Okay?
Right.
I took that 6,100 and go, the average price of a Mini, and I'm being very conservative here, I think is around $29,000. And then I say...
Higher, but I'm with you on that.
You think it's a little bit higher?
I would think it's just a skosh higher, not much higher.
Okay, so...
Maybe it might be 30, but let's just stick with 29 because that feels right.
Nobody's going to argue with that because I think it's overly conservative, okay? So that means that Mini USA has brought in $175 million less in gross, like in total sales, this year over last year. If that trend continues, that means the gross revenues for Mini USA are going to be $250 million. They're going to be down $250 million with a B billion dollars in 2016 if this trend continues. Now, I'm not sure it's going to stay that bad because, like I said, the trend seems to be they're gaining ground back, meaning year-over-year sales it continues to creep down. Hopefully, they can get below that 10% mark. But we're 9 months in. That's we're 2/3 of the year in, and if that trend continues, that means the revenues are going to be down that. Now, we don't know what the profit margin is on a Mini. So you basically you've got $250 million, $250 million in gross sales that you don't have in. You didn't receive that money in. You didn't sell that many cars.
Ouch.
You're losing a percentage of that. And Alex, you suggested that you just pulled this out of the air, 5% profit margin. We don't know what it is. But if it's 5%, that's $12.5 million of profit not made. If it's 10%, that's $25 million profit not made. Those numbers are staggering to me to think about. Now, I know Mini's a really big company. This is just Mini USA. But I think it's in relative terms, it's small. And that makes it even worse. That makes those numbers a little worse, I think.
So I'm gonna go on a whim and predict that the trend is not gonna change between now and the end of the year. I think the year is made, and if you look at the political uncertainty because of the election, I don't think people are gonna go crazy and buy cars like they're buying groceries until between now and the end of the year. I don't think this trend is gonna change. I think it's made. I think this is it. This is the year that we had 2016. This is it.
So and I've said this earlier in the year. It remains to be seen, I guess, for a long term. Is this the new normal for Mini? Have we just gone from, hey, Mini was at its heyday, and now we've come down to, okay, we've kind of plateaued again. They're going to sell 4,000 to 5,000 cars a month, but no more than that in the U.S. total in a month on average. Okay?
Right.
I don't think that's a bad thing. And on one hand, we see the thing that those of us enthusiasts and fanboys, if you will, talk about the brand is it's trying to be everything to all people, when in reality it started as a company that was a quirky niche two-door hardtop that wasn't for everybody, and that was what we loved about it, right?
Right.
Now you walk into a dealer and there's something for everybody. You can buy a two-door hardtop that's fast and fun and handles great. You can buy all the way up to a Countryman with all four on it. It's a big four-door. It's got all-wheel drive. It's comfortable to drive. And it's still a little sporty. It's still kind of fun. Kind of got the heart of a Mini. But they have something from everywhere, and then everywhere in between, from a Clubman to a convertible, and even just an average four-door sedan, if you will. And I think maybe it's just kind of diluted the brand a little bit. People have been critical of BMW about that for a long time, and I think BMW's taken it a step further now. They're going to have an X2 that was shown off, the prototype the concept at Paris.
I'm waiting for BMW to start announcing 0.5 cars. So there'll be an X.5, an X 1.5, an X 2.5, so on and so forth. That's what I'm waiting for.
What did we say? Now there's going to be an X1 through 7?
There's going to be an X1 through 7, you said.
I think so.
Right?
Is it really going to be an X7?
Series to a 7 series.
Alex, is it really going to be an X7? Is that what you said? I think we lost him.
It was
Sorry, guys. Yes, there's gonna be an X7. Like it's I think there was even like spy pictures that dropped on all the blog or something like this. Yeah, so it's definitely in the and again, like I think they actually made the announcement because they I think it was about a year ago. They were announcing like a huge funding for an expansion at Spartanburg. And I actually think they mentioned the X7. They mentioned like a bigger SUV, so it's coming.
So
there's one more number that they don't have, so it's just coming. And then you have the 8 Series coming back also. So,
right.
Oh.
So anyway, I think BMW as a brand is moving a lot of focus towards that crossover SUV type, meaning, and that's the X line. If you're not familiar with what we're talking about, the X1 through the X5 right now. And they just added an X2. A concept was shown off at the Paris Auto Show just a couple of weeks ago. So now an X1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be available with an X7 coming. These are all sort of sport utility / sport activity vehicles. Crossovers. I mean, I can't think of it. That's the term that we use for that class of cars. Mm-hmm. Mini is going to have the Clubman, which is tough because people are referring to it as a wagon. They're going to have the Countryman, which people have a lot of high hopes for. But right now, that is the only thing in the brand it's got in that crossover range. They used to have the Paceman, but that now is ceasing production this year. And last month they sold 68 of them? No. September 16th, I'm sorry, they sold 5.
Yeah, not very many.
I was looking at the year-to-date. Year-to-date Paceman sold in the U.S. this year, 68.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about the Paceman, they released that car and they ignored it, and then nobody understood it.
It was more expensive. It was more expensive than the Countryman, DB. That was the problem.
Well, yeah, and there's that.
It was 2 doors and more expensive because that's BMW's philosophy. And it was I'm going to say it right here. It was flat out. It failed.
It totally failed.
That doesn't mean I didn't like the Paceman. I liked it. I thought it was an interesting car.
Couldn't use the back seats either because it had that sloped roof.
Yeah, but that's okay when you buy a 2-door car. The back seats are there when you need them. It's not a regular use thing, right?
That's true.
If you need if you need a usable back seat, you buy the 4-door Countryman and you're good to go. This has a back seat because you're like, you know what? The dog needs somewhere to go. We're going to put it back there.
And we have small children. That's good.
Right. And they don't care. They love it back there. So
right.
I don't know.
Because you got that rail.
There's a lot. There's
a sushi chef up front making stuff and pushing it back on the rail.
There's tons of reasons why I think the Paceman failed to capture a market, if you will, and it clearly did. But
how come they didn't keep the rail going in the Clubman, Todd?
Did you ever use that in one of the cars, a production car?
No, but I only heard bad things about any accessory that was made for that.
Well, the bad thing, man, this is I hate to bash on it, but everything the first time you used one of the accessories, it broke. It was a great concept, but if you're even slightly ham-handed about snapping one of those in, it's like crack. Oh, it's busted. There's $80 down the drain. I got to go buy another one, and so really, you just never used it. It was impractical, and it went to the back seat. It made it you couldn't slide from one side to the other. Oh, there's this rail here.
Right.
It was a nice concept, but I think it should have stayed a concept. It should have been something in the concept vehicle that didn't make it to production because it was never. Now, if you own a Countryman and you love the rail system, please write to us, feedback at White Roof Radio, and let us know that. But I seriously have never personally known anybody with a Countryman in the rail system who's like, oh, I loved it. I used it every day. I'm sure those people exist. Do not get me wrong. I am not slamming it. I am just saying I think for the majority of people that it became more trouble than it was worth, which is why they nixed it by the end.
Yeah.
It's not in the Countryman's right now. So
of course not.
Anyway.
Oh, they finally they designed it out?
Yes. It was.
I haven't looked at a new Countryman, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, back when they added the bench seat in the back is when it started. That was
when they started
the beginning of the end
of the rail. That's sad. Because I mean, remember there's a big media push. They had all the commercials and all the things, right?
Yeah, the dude.
There was a big campaign around the rail.
Yeah, they had the sushi guys pushing back sushi to the backseat passengers, right? Or from pushing up front, whichever. Yeah, that's sad.
Like I said, it was one of those things I think that was better in concept than it was in execution.
Yeah.
So, but that's my
that would
personal.
have been something. If Elon Musk would have come up with that rail system, it probably would have been brilliant, and they would have sold zillions of them.
It probably would have been electric, is the thing. It would have been like a train.
It would have been like maglev.
That would have been badass, you know?
Exactly. It would do like 100 miles an hour between the front and the back.
Like a dumbwaiter, you know? It's like, yes.
Yes.
Go get me a beer. Oh, wait, you can't drink while you drive. Go get me a Coke.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome. Before we continue really quick, let's remind you guys about one of the other fine sponsors here underneath the white roof. And I'm going to tell you about something else when I'm done is let's take a second to check out cravenspeed.com if you'd be so kind. New website there as well. You guys have already seen it. We've talked about it for the last couple months. Super awesome. That's the place to go if you are looking for, if you have a first or second gen mini. So you have an R50, R53, R56, one of the minis that still has a dipstick. Craven Speed will sell you one. First of all, it's easier to read. Second of all, it doesn't break, which is, a handy feature of a dipstick. You can also get the platypus license plate mount. If you live in a state where you have to have a front plate and you don't want to drill into your bumper, the platypus license plate mount is for you. Stubby antenna is cool. Get rid of that giant antenna off the back of your car because that just looks ridiculous. Flex pod adapter, so you have a place to put your phone. You can keep an eye on it without having it in your hand. If you need a pulley, you need performance parts for an F56. You want to see who the Craven Speed guys and gals are? All that's available for you over at cravenspeed.com. Don't forget when you get there, once you scroll down to the bottom of the page, sign up for the newsletter. That way, whenever they do something new or cool on the site, they actually will send you an email and it's like, oh, awesome. So now there's this other cool thing that I can get for my mini. So that's pretty rad. And then, and also too, is if you go over there and you happen to purchase anything, maybe like a rear wiper delete kit or or a flex pod adapter or anything else, Craven Speed t-shirt perhaps, make sure you leave a message in there's a comment form there on the order form. It says, thanks for supporting White Roof Radio. We really appreciate when you guys do that. So do they. They, of course, being our friends over at Craven Speed, cravenspeed.com. Check them out if you'd be so kind. Thank you. So, Todd, you upgraded your iPhone this week.
I did.
And in the way that because of you, Apple said, "Oh, you guys can't do that anymore." At that point, notwithstanding, and you've been having a little bit of trouble with iOS, the latest version of iOS 10, with your mini connected stuff.
Yes, I have, and Alex has also. Alex, your experience has only been with Bluetooth audio, right?
Well, yeah, so it's funny because I told you guys like last week I was waiting for the 10.3 update because there was like a security gap or whatever, and so I was tired of waiting, and I wanted to see if they fixed like the issue. If the issue really was coming like from the Apple side rather than BMW Mini, it's definitely coming from BMW Mini.
The
Bluetooth still doesn't work, but it does work fairly well with USB though.
To be fair, Mini didn't change anything. Okay.
No, but they have to.
Well, they do. They do have to keep up, and that is a problem with all car manufacturers, is being able to, push out an update to go, hey, something's not right here. Let's fix it. And something is not right. And you said, Alex, here's the problem is with Bluetooth audio, if you're listening to music, you get in the car and you tell, the car you want to listen to, music on your iPhone. What happens is it starts playing a song, it'll play like 5 seconds, and then it'll stop, and maybe go to the next song and play 5 seconds, and then it'll stop, and you got nothing. Okay? Now, if you disconnect the phone and connect it again, it usually that solves the problem. I've experienced the exact same thing in USB. When I plug the phone into the USB in the car, it'll play a song, maybe 15, 20 seconds, then it skips to the next track. And it'll do the same thing. And at first, I thought Apple did away with the shake to shuffle or whatever, shake to go to the next song. Because if you guys remember way back when, they used to have this feature. If you had an iPhone or an iPod
horrible
Touch,
feature, by the way.
It was a horrible feature. If you shook it, it would move to the next track, which is dumb because if you were jogging or if you're in a car and hit a bump, the song would skip to the next track. So anyway, I'm thinking, I thought they got rid of that. And I look, and sure enough, they did get rid of it. It's a problem. And I go and I unplug my phone, I plug it back in, and then everything works fine the second time. So something's wonky with this, and it's hopefully going to get fixed with the next iOS update, which I think is 10.03, like Alex said. But right now, we're kind of stuck going, oh, this doesn't work. Gabe hasn't had the issue. He says he hasn't had the issue so far. And not everybody has had the issue.
What phone does he have? Like,
he's got a 7 now. He's got a new glossy black 7. So,
yeah, I don't. I'm still rocking the 6S Plus, but I don't have. I have access to a BMW.
Yeah.
With that I had to unpair my phone from because the Bluetooth system in that car is so good. Every time it started, even if my phone was within 50 feet, it would pair.
Right.
Which made it difficult, like driving down the road.
Well, not to mention, DB, if you're in the garage, like say you're in the garage working on your bicycle and the car is there, a lot of times your phone will ring and you won't know it because the car is picking it up.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to unpair from that car. But I've been paired to that car even with the latest version of iOS, and I haven't had any trouble.
Yeah.
Granted, it's on a 2013 5 series, not the latest stuff, but still, I haven't had any problems with it at all.
So we don't know where the real problem is, but this is not just us. It was written up in Mac Rumors had a thing about it and said BMW. They called out BMW specifically, said this is an issue, and described it exactly as we just described it. You turn your music on, Bluetooth audio, it plays for 5 seconds, and it skips the song to the next one. And
but when you think about it, like this is part of the entire culture. And when I don't know if you guys remember when we had this show where we're talking about the kind of the column from the I think CEO of BMW Group. I think it was a while ago, like something like 6 months ago, and then we're talking about the future and everything. And one of the comments that I made is that it's great to talk about that stuff, but it's not only just about wanting to do it. Like the company has to have the culture to do those things. And so, iOS 10 for developers has been out since WWDC. I mean, it's almost, 3-4 months that you have had to, investigate and do some testing. I mean, my company, we're a small company, and we do those things because we are, the relationship with our clients depend on us, like making sure we have our stuff works, whatever Apple does, because we have a lot of things on Apple's platform. So I'm sorry, but I mean, if this is truly coming from the BMW side, BMW Mini side, like they could have avoided this like very easily. I mean, as far as I know, like they have a team working on that stuff. Otherwise, like they wouldn't be, pushing CarPlay in your cars. So they have a team of engineers working on that stuff, and keeping up with the latest iOS updates is one of the jobs of that. That should definitely be one of the jobs of that team.
But we say that as tech people also, but it leads me to believe that your average Mini owner does not care, and that's why they're not doing it. That's why they're not spending more time.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I know, but so if they don't care, like don't make us like pay the price of spending like $1 gazillion to have Bluetooth audio and then it doesn't work.
I agree,
because that's what it is right now.
I agree.
Like we pay for this thing and it doesn't work. So it's just by customer service at this point.
You get it now.
I mean, I don't know. Again, like
you get it now for free.
I don't want to be
in defense of Mini. Now it's free. Now it's included with every car. Your Bluetooth audio is starting this summer. Now it's on every vehicle. Your Bluetooth audio is included. If I'm not mistaken, or is it just with the Media Pack? No, because Media Pack became standard.
Bluetooth audio with every car.
Yeah, it became standard when the screen became standard in the car this year.
Okay, yep. so that's a good thing. But again, but
it's still a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Yes, and I could be totally wrong at the end of the day. Maybe it's an Apple thing. In that case, I will gladly apologize. But right now, it seems like they're dropping the ball.
Well, I'll tell you this: we'll revisit this if Apple updates their operating system for the phone, and then all of a sudden it works, and Mini hasn't changed a thing. We'll know it was an Apple thing. It was something that they changed about the way it connects, and I'm sure it had to do with the whole. They changed a lot of things when they did away with the headphone jack, which I really don't care about. I have a set of Bluetooth headphones, and they work fine still. I have had no issues with those, just with my car. Which just leads me to believe is it's a combination of Mini and Apple things that they aren't working on this fast enough. They don't have a team to go, hey, we can fix it and we can push out an update, because you can update your system yourself. You can download the software patch to a flash drive. You plug it in your car. In your manual tells you how to update your software. So there is a path for that. It's not like you have to make an appointment and take your car in and they have to hook it up to the computer. You can do this yourself. They just need to release some sort of patch or some sort of new software that allows a fix for this. So anyway, our tech rant is over. Everything else about my car is fantastic so far. Alex, has your rattle gone away in your JCW?
No, it's still there. Plus, the scratches on the bumpers and the wheels. So it's getting better.
You need to stop running into things.
It's almost like I think what I have to keep in mind when you start having scratches like this, because this is inevitable when you live in a big city like San Francisco, you have to keep in mind that even though the car, I don't own it technically, like at some point it's gonna look like the Millennium Falcon, and that will be cool.
It's character.
But the path to get there is very painful.
Chicks dig scars, man.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Awesome. I wanted to, it's really funny, Todd, you mentioned you still love your car. Before, is somebody actually posted on Facebook this week about, didn't you do the dine and tune on your car?
I did. And we have a guy who works at a mini dealer in, I want to say the Philadelphia area or New Jersey area, put that dine and tune on his Cooper.
Oh, somebody who did that.
That was it. Yep. He wrote in and said he put it on and he loves it. Highly recommend it. So
nice. Yeah, because somebody posted about that on the Facebook yesterday. It was Calicus Jones. I'm probably saying his name wrong. Actually mentioned the Dynatune on that engine. Yeah. He's done it as well, and he loves it.
It'll take your Cooper and it'll give it Cooper-S power.
Right. Nice.
Which is, hey, for $300, totally worth it. Totally worth it.
So you get the Cooper, you do the JCW exterior, and the Dynatune. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
Really good value, really good bang for the buck. I love it on my JCW. It kicks it up, really kicks the torque up, and I have not dynoed this car, but the built-in instruments in the car where you can turn on the sport instruments in the car, it does measure torque, and it did go off the charts on torque. I think the JCW is rated at, I'm going to say this off the top of my head, and this may be wrong, around 240 something, and I got the torque into the 270 range, 270, 280 foot-pounds of torque, which is beyond what the car's rated at, and it registered that on my sport instruments with the Dyne and Tune.
Very nice.
So it could be close to
pretty good
300 foot-pounds of torque with this tune in race mode.
That's pretty exciting. Nicely done. Ridiculous. So another top tip from your friends here at White Roof Radio is ask your dealer about the Dyne tune on the F56.
It's called the Dyne Sport.
There you go. Perfect.
Yep.
And with that, I think we're done.
Yes, sir.
I would like to remind you guys to take a moment, and we're still trying to figure out how to make this happen in the Apple Podcast app, but I want you to click over to the show notes. And there you're going to see a photograph from our good friend Joe Montante, a very fine photo of his GP splashing through water, I'm presuming at the Dragon. That is the image that I've chosen.
No, it was a Philly rally. It was a Philly rally.
Was that a Philly rally?
I think so.
Anyway, he uploaded it to the White Roof Radio Facebook page. I found it, and I was like, oh, that looks like a really good picture. I'm going to use that this week. Because you know what he did? He uploaded it to the White Roof Radio Facebook page. If you would like your Mini Cooper to be featured on the show, simple. All you have to do is upload it to the Facebook page, facebook.com, White Roof Radio, or do an @ reply to us at Twitter or on Instagram. And we're White Roof Radio over there. So just do @ White Roof Radio on Instagram or Twitter. And I'll find it, and I'll go, oh, that's an awesome picture. I'm going to use that this week. It's not a competition. If you guys share a picture, I'm going to use it at some point. Super simple, right? Do it. Make it happen. That way I don't have to use press photos, because press photos are lame. Anyway. And really quick, too, let's remind you about the last of the sponsors here underneath the White Roof, and that, of course, MotoringStripes.com. You probably wonder why I say it funny. It's because I'm typing it in as I say it to you. Home of the gold-plated Mini Cooper. So if you want your Mini Cooper plated gold, well, you'd have to call Todd, and he'll say F no. But
no, I could do it, but you have to have a lot of money.
You have a lot of money to make it gold-plated. But if you're looking for stripes for your car that look cool and awesome and are easy to install, and you can install them yourself, and then you can just tell everybody you've got Todd Pearson stripes on your Mini, motoringstripes.com. You have a Countryman, and you want the boot protector strip, which saves the bumper, bumper protection strip. Super awesome. That's over at motoringstripes.com. If you're looking for motoring badges, motoringstripes.com. If you're looking for some really dope looking keychains that are basically little motoring badges on a keychain, super awesome, motoringstripes.com. Go check it out. Because blank is boring.
Yes.
Was there anything new that I missed there, brother?
No.
Excellent.
Not yet.
Very cool. Then, or if you want a full matte black wrap of a Countryman, that looks badass.
I've done that multiple times.
Like that.
Multiple times.
Yeah, that just looks hot. And you go to the inspiration page, you can see some of Todd's good work, including the purple Planet Fitness cars. Oof. Oof. Don't like that at all. But it's not because you do a bad job. It's just whoever designed it just is. No, thank you. Anyway, with that, we are done. Thanks for listening, guys. We do appreciate it as always. If you're looking for a way to support White Roof Radio, hey, you can do that too. Click over to patreon.com/White Roof Radio. And if you wanted to donate like 25 cents to $1 an episode, that's super awesome. All that stuff goes to us creating shows, keeping the new show, Ride Bikes Radio, ridebikesradio.com, up and running, paying for the hosting service, paying for all the hosting services that we have. Including, we have to pay, there's Amazon, and then there's a podcast host service, and there's a web host service, and all these other things. Every little bit helps. We really appreciate you guys helping out that are helping out. Super duper awesome. You can do that yourself. Patreon.com/White Roof Radio. But for this week, we are done. This is the part of the show where I like to make the funny clicking sound, and then I say... Questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead, click back over to whiteroofradio.com. There you can leave us a note in the show notes. You can also email us, feedback@whiteroofradio.com. Until next week, gang, this is DB. I'm done.
Cheers.
À bientôt.